Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told, I had a voice radio. So today, it's time to prepare for pre-releases. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, Guardians Rising pre-releases are starting this weekend, so I figured I would bring you a ranking of the 4 potential promotional cards you will be receiving. Now, when you go to a pre-release, you will be getting one of these 4 promo cards, and like I did with Sun and Moon, I thought it was only fair if I told you which of them was the best. And I'm even going to chuck in some pre-release advice at the end. So if you've never been to a pre-release before, going to your first one, I'm going to give you some advice just to finish off the video. So in at number 4, Mossdale, and you might have been able to see this one coming, because this is the only Pokemon for whom I had not done a bespoke video. Mossdale is a Stage 1 Pokemon, it's a fighting Pokemon, but it's just overpriced. For 2 fighting and a colourless, you can do 60 damage, 120 if you've got a tool attached. Now we're getting choice band, so if you put a choice band on Mossdale, you're doing 150. 150 for free energy is okay, but on a stage 1, there's just better options we've got. For free fighting and a colourless, you can do 180 to them, 40 damage to yourself. It's too much energy to put on 140 HP Pokemon, or after you've used the attack, 100 HP. It's not a terrible card, there's nothing in this pre-release promo set which is as bad as Bruxish back in Sun and Moon, but Mossdale's just not particularly great. Coming in at number 3, a Lowland Sand Slash. Now, I like a Lowland Sand Slash. I did a video about a Lowland Sand Slash. It's got a really good ability allowing you to draw an extra card per turn, which is always good. It's got a fun hit and run attack, allowing you to switch into something like a Wobbuffet, so you do some damage and then you block abilities. There is a little bit of potential here, but the attack is overpriced. It's a stage 1, and we've got at the moment better options for drawing cards. On a basic, the ability to draw a card, I would love it. On a stage 1, kind of like Mossdale, it's just a little bit too expensive. Although I have done a video about a Lowland Sand Slash, so do feel free to check that out. There is a link in the description. Coming in at number 2, Grampa. I didn't like Grampa when I first looked at it, and then I sat down to plan a video about Grampa, and now I like Grampa a lot more. Firstly, it's a basic, that's pretty good. Secondly, it's got an attack for just a colourless energy. You can search for a basic energy and attach it to Grampa, that's quite nice. But what I really like is the attack for free colourless energy, 80 damage, move and energy from Grampa to one of your benched Pokemon. So you use a basic energy and a double colourless, you do 80, move the double colourless to your bench. And what I love about Grampa is you can play this in an entirely EX deck. So your opponent has to KO 3 EXs to win the game. You play Grampa, and if they KO Grampa, they've still got to KO 3 EXs to win the game, to take 6 prizes, or in fact, as they will be doing it, 7 prizes. So you can really make Grampa into a, I'm just going to sit here doing damage, and either you don't KO it, and I still do damage, or you do KO it, but you don't get any closer to winning the game, because you've still got to KO 3 EXs to win. And of course, if your opponent has taken 5 prizes rather than 4, then you get to end them down to 1 card in their hand rather than 2. But for me, it's a pretty easy one this time. The best pre-release promo is Oricorio, and I feel very strongly about this. I like Grampa, but Oricorio is going to see a lot of play, and I just think it is by far the best one here, and I don't think that's a particularly controversial statement. Really here, it's a basic Pokemon, and it's the attack Supernatural Dance. For a single colourless energy, which means this can go into any deck whatsoever, for each Pokemon in your opponent's discard pile, put 1 damage counter on your opponent's Pokemon in any way that you like. Now, in the expanded format, you can use this to wreck Night March, because you can use their Dimension Valley to do the attack for free, and their Joltik and Pumpkaboo have very low HP, and their deck revolves around putting Pokemon in their discard. But even against things that aren't Night March, in the mid to late game, it's not unusual for your opponent to have 8 to 10 Pokemon in the discard pile, which means you get to drop 8 to 10 damage counters for a single energy, and you get to drop them wherever you like. So if your opponent's bench Pokemon only has 40 HP remaining, you drop 4 damage counters on there, and you drop 6 damage counters somewhere else. Oricorio will see a lot of play. It will be a very good card, whereas the others, other than Mossdale, which I think is a bit rubbish unfortunately, have a little bit of potential. But Oricorio is a legitimately really good card. Now, in terms of pre-release advice, if this is your first pre-release, I'm going to make it really simple. You might want to buy some sleeves so that you can put your cards in sleeves, so when you shuffle them, you're not wrecking any good cards that you might pull, any GXs, etc. You want to keep nice and shiny. You may want to buy a playmat. Again, for the same deal, so you've got somewhere nice to play on a table. And you should have either a coin or a dice. And you should have some dice to use as damage counters. But then again, most people are really, really friendly, so most people will just let you use dice that they've got. If you're flipping a dice and using dice for damage counters, the flipping dice must be a little bit different. The biggest advice I can give you if this is your first pre-release is just go along and have fun. The beauty of pre-releases is there are no prizes per se. At the end of the pre-release, everybody gets 2 extra packs and a promo card. So it doesn't matter if you win, it doesn't matter if you lose, just go along, play some games, talk to people, because the vast majority of people at Pokemon tournaments are lovely, and have fun. It's a brilliant introduction to the game. You don't need to win. It doesn't really make any difference if you do or not. So get some sleeves to protect your cards, a playmat and some dice. Although you don't need any of that stuff. You can just rock up with nothing and just sit down and chat to people and enjoy the game. You don't need advice for how to win a pre-release, because it doesn't matter if you win or not. Pre-releases should just be a good day out with old friends or making new friends. And it's always fun to win. But it's not important for a pre-release because there aren't any prizes. Now, you know the deal, ladies and gentlemen. There is a comment section. Go nuts, be nice. There are buttons to both like this video and subscribe to this channel, and I would be delighted if you would use them both. You can follow me on Twitter @TheWassy, and you should. And the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.